You asked AI to write something, an email, a letter, and it came back almost perfect. So what did you do next? You copied it, pasted it into a document, fixed the bits it got wrong, respaced the paragraphs. 10 minutes of tidying up after a tool that was supposed to save you time. Here's the thing. You never had to leave Gemini at all. Hi there. Welcome back to Everyday AI Made Simple. I'm Alan, still the AI version of me. And that little fellow in the red cap who keeps reacting for all of us? That's Sam. Today, we're finishing our 3-part next step run. By the end of this, you'll do 3 things inside Gemini for free that most people never discover. Edit AI's writing like a document instead of fighting with it. Turn any boring text into something you'd actually use in one click, and build a little tool just by asking for it. The feature is called Canvas. So far in this series, you taught AI to remember you. That was the memory episode. Then you gave it a standing job. Projects and gems. Canvas is the third piece. Memory knows who you are. A job knows what you're doing. Canvas is where you actually make the thing. Think of it this way. Normal chat is like talking to someone on the phone. They read things back to you and you scribble notes. Canvas is like sitting down at the same table with one shared sheet of paper between you. You can both reach in and change it. One catch worth knowing up front. Canvas doesn't turn itself on. You tap the plus sign, then Canvas, and then Gemini starts building instead of just chatting. Okay, here we go. First, a letter you can actually edit. Watch what normal chat does. I asked Gemini to write a note to my condo management. The gym aircon's been down 2 weeks, and the equipment's filthy. It writes a good letter. See these gaps? Your name, your unit number? I can't just click in and type them. And if I hit copy, it grabs the whole chatty mess around the letter, not just the letter. Worse, when I send it to a Google Doc, look, the spacing between paragraphs collapses. Now, the same request with Canvas switched on, it opens in its own panel. And now I just click in and type. Real name, real unit number. I can even tell it, make this more formal, and it rewrites it in place. And when I export this to a Google Doc, the spacing holds. In chat, you're stuck with whatever it hands you. In Canvas, you're holding the pen. Next, turning plain text into something you'd actually use. Say I'm learning to be a soccer referee. I asked Canvas to list the rules I need to know, and it laid out a tidy guide, all 17 laws of the game. Useful, but it's a wall of text. Here's the magic. Up top, there's a create button. One click, and the whole thing is an infographic. Same words, suddenly something you can take in at a glance. Back to the guide, click create again, this time a quiz. It asks me a question, I answer, and it tells me if I'm right and why. There are more in that menu. A web page, flashcards, even a listen-on-the-go audio overview. One chunk of text reshaped into whatever helps you most. To look at, to test yourself, or to listen to on a walk. Now, the one that surprises people. You can build a little tool, no coding, just plain words. We travel a lot, so I asked, build me a mini app I can use as a packing and trip checklist. And there it is, a working checklist built from one sentence. But the first version made choices for me. It filled every category with fixed items I didn't ask for. Now, this is the most important habit on the whole channel. When AI isn't quite right, you don't start over and you don't pay. You just tell it. I said drop the fixed items, put the choices on a drop-down, and add plus and minus buttons for quantity. And it rebuilt the whole thing. To keep it, I hit download. and it saves as a little web page I can open anytime. One caution: because it matters, these little tools live on a web page, so do not enter any private information into them. No bank details, no medical information, nobody else's personal data. Same rule as always. If you wouldn't say it out loud in a coffee shop, don't type it in. One bonus to tie the series together. Remember Notebook LM, the tool that only knows the documents you give it? Canvas can plug straight into it. I pointed it at one of my own notebooks and said, "Build me a web page from this." First try, it stalled, looked like it had hit a wall. I just hit retry, and off it went. There's that habit again. It's not always smooth the first time. You nudge it and carry on. And then it rather over-delivered. I asked for one page, and it built a whole interactive site, pulled straight from my own sources, not generic filler. But here's the honest part, and it's our safety beat for today. My notebook happened to be about health, and Canvas cheerfully built me a symptom checker and a meal planner. They look convincing. They are not medical advice. An AI tool like this is a nice way to organize what you're already reading. It is not a doctor, and it never replaces one. The polish is not proof. Treat anything important, health, money, legal, as a starting point. You go and verify. I made a free one-page cheat sheet with all of this. Turning Canvas on, the Create menu, and how to shape a tool by talking. Links in the description. Save it to your phone so it's there when you need it. So, 3 things to take away. 1, Canvas is just chat that becomes a workspace. Tap tools, then Canvas, and it starts making instead of talking. 2, you can edit like a document, reshape any text into an infographic or a quiz, and build a little tool from a sentence. All on the free version. 3, it's a conversation. It won't be perfect first try. You shape it by asking, and you keep the private stuff out. That closes our Next Step series. Memory, then projects and gems, and now Canvas. If you missed the first 2, they're linked below, and they stack beautifully with this one. Do me a favor. Tell me in the comments, what's the first little tool you build? I read every one. Subscribe if this made AI feel a little simpler, and I'll see you in the next one.